Hi guys, Wazwer here, and today we've got a bit of a crazy video. If you've noticed, my interface is a little weird, and my character is also a little weird, and that's because I'm in Legacy mode. And I'm going to be doing something pretty crazy with Legacy mode, where I'm going to get an insane amount of combat XP per hour and some good drops without even having to activate a single ability. And that's all because of this new Augmented Inquisitor staff, new perks that were available. One thing I do want to show off is the difference between Burst and Barrage. We toggle these to max hit mode. Burst hits a 653. And Barrage hits a 657, so they're essentially the same, but Burst takes considerably less GP per cast, and that's because this caps out at a T80 weapon, while the effect makes it a higher damage and not the actual level. So our inventory is a little crazy here. Every item kind of has its use. I'm going to go over them one by one. The Excalibur is just in case we need some extra HP. Menopause Tablet to get to the player-owned Slayer dungeon. These potion reservoirs allow us to not have to click on our overload. We can just activate them. I have a stockpile of them in the inventory. The dinosaur chaps are for resilient components, which we're going to level up to 9 and then put a new set on. Overloads. As per usual, these XP capacitors, again, another thing where we're just eking out some extra GP about just having items in your inventory. Weapon poison, we deal extra damage every 15% of hits. We bring 2 of those, 4 doses. Gold accumulator to collect all the gold drops. Baron Shark for safety food. These Lantidine incense sticks make our weapon poison last 14 minutes and our overloads last 8 minutes. Dwarfweed Seeds has an 8% chance to bank items that are dropped by monsters, so things that the legendary pet miss get banked. And then we have 1 of each of the noted drops in our inventory, and then we have the Tardiette Crystal, Adamant Stone Spear, and Elder Seeds as stackable drops. In terms of armor, it's a little weird to be wearing ranged armor with Mage, but we need to get the Crystal Shapeshifters to spawn in melee form, so we need to have very low melee defense, and we want them to stay in melee form, so they all clump up. Luck of the doors for that HSR chance, knock on wood. Attuned Crystal Boots, where you need 2 Attuned Crystal items to deal 10% more damage to Shapeshifters. Cinderbanes to make our poison better, just best in slot gloves. Max Cape as a hybrid cape so that we don't pump up our melee defense with a Mage cape. And then Book of Balance because it has an AoE effect, and with current page prices it's about 400k per hour to use, so it pretty much pays for itself in extra drops, and that just means more XP per hour. One thing I did want to mention is that with the current price of the Dragon Slayer Codex, Dino Legs, and Augmenters, it's not actually profit to level them up to 9 and disassemble them, but that might change in the future. So for now, just put them in there and let them get all the way up to level 20, which will help charge your XP capacitors. So as we're going to be using the player-owned Slayer dungeon to kill the Crystal Shapeshifters, we need to capture the souls. So once you've completed the quest, The Light Within, you'll be able to teleport to the World Gate with your 6-stage circuit. And you can quick dial on the World Gate and pick Tardiad, and it'll rotate the dial to the correct location. And then you want to step through the World Gate. Now, the very first thing you want to do is run past all of these Crystal Shapeshifters, as they will currently be aggressive, and it's pretty hard to kill all of them when they're stacking up on you. So if you go across to this campfire, there's Angoth here, and you can toggle Shapeshifter aggressiveness and make them non-aggressive, Once you have these souls, make sure to toggle that back on to aggressive. But this is also the location of the shop where you can spend your Tardian crystals that you will get from shifters. I like to balance out each of these. As you can see, when we have 2 of them, we increase the damage against crystal shapeshifters by 10%, which is why we're making sure we wear the helm and boots. Now just cross back over the bridge and up these set of stairs, and there's about 4 or 5 of them, and you can just kill them. They'll be in melee form, they'll transform because you are a ranger and they go to your weakness. So just go ahead and kill them. It took me about an hour and a half to get all 5 souls, but I do have 120 Slayer, so I do get the buff there. So this is about an hour or 2 setup. Once you have all 5 souls, you can load up the inventory I provided and go to the player-owned Slayer dungeon. The method is pretty simple. You just activate penance, come through here, try to run to this corner, activate your Excalibur as you're running in, just because that's when HP is going to be the toughest. You want to put on Affliction and Soul Split, and then switch on your potion reservoir to auto drink your potions and drink a weapon poison, and now you can just AFK. Call your pet also so it's not stuck behind the barrier. And I like to have the looting window open because every 2 or so minutes I'll click on here and just hit the spacebar. As you can see, it kind of fluctuates between the high 1s to the low 1.2s. Kind of depends on what's going on, but I seem to pull a consistent about, let's just say 1.2. So here is our loot from 8 hours. I ended up getting a total of 3696 kills, which led to a total of 9.93 mil defense experience and about 3.3 mil HP experience. So just under 1.25 mil per hour. If we put this in here, we can see what everything is, and the total is 102 mil. The cash stack here of 65 mil is a little suspect, so let me explain it. 23.4 mil of that is from the spring cleaner. These rune salvage drops here were teleported by the incense sticks when they were dropped, so they didn't get to go through the spring cleaner, so that's slightly more GP there. The Tardian crystals that we got, they are worth at minimum 2k each, and we got 10,777. So I put in 21.5 mil to represent that, and then I put in another 21 mil for the 7 XP capacitors that were filled up. I'm unsure of the exact profit with those, as they fluctuated from selling from 4 to 5, and then they also fluctuated from cost to make from 500k to 1.5 mil. So I'm going to assume a rough average of 3 mil per, so that's how we ended up with the 21 number. Now let's go ahead and sell all of these items to see what the actual loot was. We have to take off the supplies cost, and between the runes, the god book, the divine charges, the lantidime sticks, and the dwarfweed sticks, we ended up having a cost of 19.2 mil. So we're going to add that to the bank. We have our 8 hours of loot after deducting off supply cost, and we're at 81.9 mil. But
realistically, 21 mil of that is XP capacitors, and I really don't know how long those are going to stay such insane profit. So I'm also going to bank 21 mil for the XP capacitors profit that I had originally included, just to see what the non-capacitor profit is, which is 60 mil. 60.9 mil to be exact. So we can say that this is 7.5 mil per hour profit, fully AFK with legacy, is something I would have never thought I heard. Hope you enjoyed the video. A huge credit goes out to my friend Dino. He's the master of killing Slayer creatures, and together I would say 75%, maybe 80% him and 20% me. We've theory crafted a lot of the shapeshifter methods that are out there. He actually was the person who came up with the original shapeshifter method that got leaked to all of the YouTubers, and then all those videos were made on it, and that was that guy. So this is his new 2020 revolution for shifters.